I'm Jess Cosavetto, executive producer of the hit Netflix documentary series Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult.
And I'm Clea Gray, former member of 7M Films and Shekinah Church.
And we're the host of the new podcast, Forgive Me for I Have Followed. Together, we'll be diving even deeper into the unbelievable stories behind 7M Films and Shekinah Church.
Listen to Forgive Me for I Have Followed on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, everybody, this is Matt Rogers.
And Bowen Yang, we've got some exciting news for you.
You know we're always bringing you the best guests, right?
Well, this week we're taking it to the next level.
The one, the only, Catherine Hahn is joining us on Las Culturistas.
That's right, the queen of comedy herself.
Get ready for a conversation that's as hilarious as it is insightful.
Tune in for all the laughs, the stories, and of course, the culture.
Don't miss Catherine Hahn on Las Culturistas. Listen to Las Culturistas on Will Ferrell's Big Money Players Network on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, I'm Gianna Prudenti.
And I'm Jamae Jackson Gadsden. We're the hosts of Let's Talk Offline from LinkedIn News and iHeart Podcasts.
There's a lot to figure out when you're just starting your career. That's where we come in.
Think of us as your work besties you can turn to for advice.
And if we don't know the answer, we bring in people who do, like negotiation expert Maury Taheri-Poor.
If you start thinking about negotiations as just a conversation, then I think it sort of eases us a little bit.
Listen to Let's Talk Offline on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Carrie Champion, and this is Season 4 of Naked Sports. Up first, I explore the making of a rivalry. Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese.
Every great player needs a foil.
I know I'll go down in history. People are talking about women's basketball just because of one single game.
Clark and Reese have changed the way we consume women's sports. Listen to the making of a rivalry. Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Presented by Capital One, founding partner of iHeart Women's Sports.
Kay hasn't heard from her sister in 7 years.
I have a proposal for you. Come up here and document my project. All you need to do is record everything like you always do.
What was that?
That was live audio of a woman's nightmare.
Can Kay trust her sister, or is history repeating itself?
There's nothing dangerous about what you're doing.
They're just dreams.
Dream Sequence is a new horror thriller from Blumhouse Television, iHeartRadio, and Realm. Listen to Dream Sequence on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Still the Place with Laura Layton,
Courtney Thorne-Smith,
and Daphne Zuniga, an iHeartRadio podcast. We're back for part 2 because we had to take a break and we went off to do the con, which we realized sounds like
the 90s.
The convention. Yeah, it was a 90s convention.
Yeah, a lot of fans. And we wanted to finish up your questions. So let's see how far we can get.
Our question.
This is the nighttime version.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talked about my spritzer, and someone was so nice to get us spritzer.
Spritzer. We've all got our little
we played
nightcap
backgammon.
Yeah. Some of us got casual, changed our clothes.
I love back. Did you bring a board?
I know. I can't believe it. No, I didn't bring it with me because my husband isn't here. I wasn't sure I could.
You didn't bring your partner either.
Yeah. No, I love backgammon. Bring it next time.
I will. Yeah. Next time okay. All right.
We've got plans, people.
Anything you want to say, Grant, before we start
He
talking?
shakes his head no. No.
Did you know that women on average, I think, speak 3 times as many more words as men per day?
3 times?
Or was it 30?
I don't know.
It might be 30.
30.
No, 3. That's what I heard.
It can't be 30 times.
No, it's 3.
Right.
So if you counted the words of average men per day and women, we would trump you by 3.
We're talkers.
Yeah.
All right.
I know my
Explain it all.
Trying to give you your airtime.
My daughter is nonstop.
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad sometimes because I just tune it out.
I know. Well, you know what? You are training her because we have husbands that tune it out. And it's like, I can tell you have the glaze. This is important what I'm about to say.
And you
after
go,
that, you can space
Am
out.
I talking too much?
Yeah.
I say, are you listening? He's like,
hello.
Yep.
I'll be something will catch my ear. I'll be like, wait, what? Hang on a second. What? Tell me that again.
Wait, say that part again. Just the last part, though.
Yeah.
Don't repeat the whole thing.
What did I say? Repeat me. What did I say?
I say that too. And I'm like, I can't even
Tell me what I said.
Yeah. You got that wrong.
Oh, wait a minute. I have gotten this from my wife while I'm looking at her. I'm like this. And she goes,
staring.
I swear to God, she goes, look at me when I'm talking to you.
I get that too. I do that too.
It's like I'm looking right at you.
I see.
Yeah. No, he'll be looking at me and I'll go, "Are you listening? Are you listening?"
I think that's what she meant to say. It's like,
what's that?
I think that's what she meant to say.
Are you
I
taking-
see
No,
you
no,
looking,
she meant
but
look at me.
Look at
Look at me.
Yes.
No, well, no, she in some part of her brain she recognized that I wasn't fully with her.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, that's
Right.
a lot of our
I
brain.
never
About
admitted
your
that.
golf
I just said
game
I'm
or
looking
your-
right at you, honey.
What I love about that whole thing, and then we'll get to the questions, but what I love about that whole thing is that we have a real honesty. We have a thing now where I'll say to David, I'll be like, what I'm going to say is important. He goes, okay.
You have to
time for you to
preface it.
He'll stop
listen.
me and he'll pay attention. He goes, I got, 40 seconds, please, Daphne, pick your thing. And then okay. Or sometimes he's turned to me, he goes, I can't listen anymore. It's so painful. What? And I go, oh, you're right. This is to myself part. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I was still looking at you. Go, be you.
We're still working on that.
But it's true. It's painful to men to listen to us keep on going. Keep on going. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, so Daphne, you're holding the deck of cards.
Oh,
Do you have a
okay.
question
Okay,
for
let's
us?
do it.
Let somebody else talk.
Yes. Grant, you want to start?
Grant.
Okay.
Here, let's give him to Grant.
Wait, no, then I have to talk.
What's the story behind your
Oh.
cell phone wallpaper?
Okay, this is another random
Oh.
question. What's the story about? What's the story behind your cell phone wallpaper?
I saw
Okay.
that.
Oh,
and
I
I
had
was
no
like-
idea what that even meant.
What's the
I thought
story?
you
It's
maybe that somebody here had cell phone wallpaper on their
What's
house.
the story behind your cell phone wallpaper? Like
Okay.
we all choose what goes on our phone, right?
You're
Mhm.
about
So-
to I'm about to have to divulge so much.
I love that. See,
I
this
can't
is what I
wait.
was hoping.
Okay.
My phone wallpaper is a picture of my son on his third birthday, where he's wearing a birthday hat and he just has the greatest smile on his face. And it's one of my favorite pictures of him. And I have not changed it ever, but it makes my daughter
Insane.
so
Insecure.
fake jealous. She's like, oh yeah, well then I'm putting a picture of myself on Dad's phone. So we both have I have Jack on my phone and Doug has Lucy.
That's
and
cute.
they never change. That's just the thing. I'm always gonna have Jack and he's always gonna have
Okay,
Lucy.
that's really cute. I am relieved to see that I did change the other one. I don't know why, but this one's good too. It's a quote by Abraham Hicks. There isn't anything that I cannot be or do or have, and I have a huge non-physical staff that is ready to assist me, and I'm ready.
I love your quotes. I love your connection to spirit.
But before that, I had my own.
You had everybody.
Well, it was stop, pause, reflect, heal, change. I know it's a lot.
No, I love it.
But it's
it's not a lot. It's simple.
Do you feel like that? Okay. Because I wrote that.
I like
when
how
I was-
simplistic it is. Stop.
I just feel like,
reflect, heal,
and change. And that's how I feel like my life has been moving so fast for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I have to stop. And I'm just stop and then just pause. It's okay to stop and pause. And if I do that, by doing that, I will be able to reflect on my life and what's working, what's not. By doing that, I can heal and then I can change. If I don't stop and pause, I'll never get to the next 3.
Yes.
So anyway,
That's good. I love that you put it on your cell phone wallpaper because otherwise, how will you remind yourself? We look at our phones so many times a day.
And also, for some reason, at night is when I have my most. When I'm just sitting in bed, it's when I am and I was like, God, Josie, you just need to stop and pause and then so I was like, stop, pause, reflect, heal, change.
Did you write that?
Yes.
Oh, Juice.
Yeah.
I thought it was another
no
a master, but look at you.
Yeah, but
all
I
the
think
work
I just
you've done.
so that's why I put it on there so I could whenever I picked it up remind myself that I need to stop and pause.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, Jose.
Thanks.
Grant.
Mine says beer.
No, it doesn't.
Is it an image or just the word?
No, it's my daughter. It's my daughter.
And the word beer.
Yeah, no.
What's the story behind it? Where's the picture?
Gosh, it's just a picture of her with a school sweatshirt on, and it's just a great picture of her. I've had it. I usually change them, as she goes from one phase of childhood to the next. This has been on for probably a year, so.
Oh.
She has commandeered my pad,
Oh yeah.
and she
puts a
has
lot of pictures of
a ton of wallpapers that she has put on my pad that she chooses, picks back and forth and goes through, and most of them have something to do with dogs.
Oh, dogs?
So,
I was going to say, or are they of her?
No. They're like graphics. We have a little terrier, it's called a no Jack Russell, or just a Russell. It's like a little miniature. It's a smaller Jack Russell that some of the crazy has been bred out of, so they're not a-holes.
Yeah, because Jack Russell has so much energy.
This one's great. She's got 2 speeds, like 90, or if you go, come over here, and she just lays in your lap, and she'll turn off. She doesn't like force it.
Oh, I love that.
This is a great breed.
It's called a no Jack Terrier.
Or a Russell Terrier. Some people like colloquially, it's a no Jack Russell, or it's a Parsons Terrier. They're just like Jack Russells, where they're wire haired or short haired, or
they're the best size.
Once I discovered the wallpaper stuff, I put it on rotate like a few times a day, so it's always a surprise.
Okay.
And it lets you pick people or nature or something, favorites. And I tried the people and favorites, and it would stress me out, like, I don't, so I just put it on nature. So right now I click on it, and it's this river in Idaho where we went fly fishing. I don't fly fish. My husband fly fishes. So we went there. It's a wonderful place. I think it's called Henry's Fork, and it's right on the border. Do you fish, Grant? Okay. So it's right on the border of Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho.
Oh,
and it's
beautiful.
Really beautiful. We were there for a few days and over, I think, 4th of July. Anyway, that's the story there. I love it. But like tonight when I go to sleep, it'll say something. Tomorrow will be other. But I like the nature for the calming.
To remind
stuff.
you, too. Like that's for me, at least, nature is like where I don't know. I feel
Sounds
peace.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No showering in nature.
Yeah, I know. You in that car with the woods. Yeah.
Hey, everybody, this is Matt Rogers.
And Bowen Yang, we've got some exciting news for you.
You know we're always bringing you the best guests, right?
Well, this week we're taking it to the next level.
The one, the only, Catherine Hahn is joining us on Las Culturistas.
That's right, the queen of comedy herself.
Get ready for a conversation that's as hilarious as it is insightful.
Tune in for all the laughs, the stories, and of course, the culture.
I feel some Sandra Bernhard in you. Oh, my God, I would love it. I have to watch Lost.
Oh, you have to.
No, I know. I'm so behind.
Catherine Hahn can sing.
Oh, I'm really good at karaoke.
And
what's your song?
On camera, what's your song?
Oh, I love a ballad. I felt Bjork's music, and I just was like, who is this person? I gotta hawk this slalom, Luigi.
Not hawk the slalom. I absolutely love it. It was somehow Shakespearean when you said it. It was somehow gorgeous.
Yee, must suck you, Holland.
Listen to Las Culturistas on Will Ferrell's Big Money Players Network on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Jess Casaveto, executive producer of the hit Netflix documentary series Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult.
And I'm Clea Gray, former member of 7M Films and Shekinah Church.
And we're the host of the new podcast, Forgive Me for I Have Followed. Together, we'll be diving even deeper into the unbelievable stories behind 7M Films and LA-based Shekinah Church, an alleged cult that has impacted members for over 2 decades.
Jessica and I will delve into the hidden truths between high control groups and interview dancers, church members, and others whose lives and careers have been impacted, just like mine.
Through powerful, in-depth interviews with former members and new chilling firsthand accounts, the series will illuminate untold and extremely necessary perspectives. Forgive Me for I Have Followed will be more than an exploration. It's a vital revelation aimed at ensuring these types of abuses never happen again.
Listen to Forgive Me for I Have Followed on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, I'm Gianna Prudenti.
And I'm Janae Jackson Gadsden. We're the hosts of Let's Talk Offline, a new podcast from LinkedIn News and iHeart Podcasts.
When you're just starting out in your career, you have a lot of questions, like how do I speak up when I'm feeling overwhelmed?
Or, can I negotiate a higher salary if this is my first real job? Girl, yes.
Each week, we answer your unfiltered work questions.
Think of us as your work besties you can turn to for advice.
And if we don't know the answer, we bring in experts who do, like resume specialist Morgan Sanner.
The only difference between the person who doesn't get the job and the person who gets the job is usually who applies.
Yeah, I think a lot about that quote. What is it? Like, you miss 100% of the shots you never take?
Yeah, rejection is scary, but it's better than you rejecting yourself.
Together, we'll share what it really takes to thrive in the early years of your career
without sacrificing your sanity or sleep.
Listen to Let's Talk Offline on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I've been thinking about you. I want you back in my life.
It's too late for that.
I have a proposal for you. Come up here and document my project. All you need to do is record everything like you always do. One session, 24 hours.
BPM 110, 120. She's terrified.
Should we wake her up?
Absolutely not.
What was that?
You didn't figure it out?
I think I need to hear you say it.
That was live audio of a woman's nightmare.
This machine is approved and everything? You're allowed to be doing this?
We passed the review board a year ago. We're not hurting people.
There's nothing dangerous about what you're doing.
They're just dreams.
Dream Sequence is a new horror thriller from Blumhouse Television, iHeartRadio, and Realm. Listen to Dream Sequence on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
In a galaxy far, far away.
No, babe, that's taken. We're in our own world, remember?
Right. In our own world, we're two space cadets.
And totally normal humans.
Sure, totally normal humans.
Embark on a journey across the stars, discovering the wonders of the universe one episode at a time.
We'll talk about life, love, laughter, and why you should never argue with your co-pilot.
Especially when she's always right.
Right. And if we hit turbulence, just blame it on Mercury retrograde.
Or Emily's questionable space piloting skills.
Hey, join us on In Our Own World for cosmic conversations, stellar laughs,
and super corny dad jokes.
Listen to In Our Own World as a part of the My Cultura podcast network, available on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't worry, we promise to avoid any black holes.
Most of the time.
All right, pass the day.
What do you regret doing or not doing during your years on Melrose Place?
Regret's not the right word, but because,
what do you wish you had done differently? Maybe that's the way to say it. What do you wish
I wish
you'd
that
done
I
differently?
was like maybe took myself a little less seriously.
Okay,
And
yeah.
kind of a lot of the stuff that kind of is encompassed with that. I think I could have enjoyed my time there a little bit more. It's not exactly regret, because like I did the best I could with who I was at the time. I didn't do anything where where I knew I shouldn't behave this way, or it's a regret. I don't, it's not exactly that, but I wish I had been wiser to behave in a way that was different than I did. Not behave, but experience it in a way.
To feel it and appreciate it. Yeah, I think that's sort of, we're all nodding our heads and agreeing, because I think all of us think that's sort of
comes with age.
Yeah,
kind of what
that
you're saying.
appreciating something, or
funny,
just
though, when you look back on yourself, at least I do, when I look back on myself about it, it's like it's so clear to me where I was not getting it right. Do you know what I mean? It's not so clear to me when I look at somebody else, but it's so clear to me. Right. It's like, wow, how did I not get that?
Yeah, but in the moments and like in the ages that we were, and we're caught up in so many things happening simultaneously, it's really hard to see it. And seeing things in retrospect always.
Yeah, sure. The cliches are right.
It was really intense to be on that show, which became such a huge hit. And we were all young. I mean, I think I was older than you guys. If we've said you were young. I was 30. You were 21.
Yeah,
so we're 10 years apart. But it was a heady deal to put on people, And we'd all been acting for a long time since then, but that was like, nothing was like that kind of attention. And, yes, great things, but all of it comes with that kind of fame or that kind of attention. A lot of stuff. It's not just positive. So I appreciate that, Grant, that you want to talk about this. Is there anything that you would do?
I think it's sort of the same answer for everybody. Like just looking around the room, I feel like it's, very similar response for all of us. But I think part of it is like you said, having more fun or taking ourselves less seriously, just
getting out of your own way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
I think less seriously is a good. And you know what I love about this kind of like awareness now? Can I do that today?
Right.
Because I have the wisdom, I have the age, I have the, that's all behind us. So am I going to wait another 10 or 20 years,
right,
God willing,
right,
to have that
Am I
same
gonna make that
attitude
same
as today?
mistake again? It's very
Right.
possible. Listen, when I started Melrose Place, I knew it was going to be a ride, and I said to myself, "This is going to be big, and it's going to come after you, and it's going to affect you, and you got to watch out, and you would be careful." And and I still fell into the trend, not horribly, but I still fell into those traps. All the traps that I knew were set for me, and I still fell into them. In different ways. It happened. So So am I? Will I pass the next test?
Yeah, well, that is one gift of awareness. There's a gift of awareness is that you have choice now. We didn't have choice because we were that young. We also didn't have choice because we didn't even think. Like people, I'm sure, said to me, "Don't take yourself so seriously." I'm sure we were told that,
right.
Especially when your show's so serious.
Yeah.
Right.
But I didn't have the capacity to go, "What do you mean? It's serious. I got to be this. I got to be that."
So important. It's a big deal. It's huge. This is, all those
But
things.
my gosh, now I just go like, when I can stop,
pause, reflect,
and just go, what's important now? Because the time's getting shorter now. That's what I get from being older. Do you, Grant? Like, does it get short? Does the future look?
Oh yeah.
Does it put pressure on you to
I still live in denial. Just the denial of the end is still the same denial of the end that I had 30 years ago. It's just it's the same denial. It is, even though you get glimpses of it every once in a while. Like when my father died, it's like, oh, there is mortality. It really is. It really is there. And then if someone close to you gets sick, it's like, there is an end, and the end is an end. But mostly I live in denial. I mean, I don't know.
There's just more frequent reminders.
Yeah, maybe.
Sort of,
I guess, I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what like Buddha was about, right? That's what that's all about, is trying to come to terms
surrender
with
dying. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right.
There's a whole meditation that you can do, dying meditation, and you imagine.
Not gonna.
Yeah. You imagine you get in touch with being just bones and blood and flesh, and you get really in touch with that whole thing. And there's different visualizations, I think, about it. And maybe that whole book, the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying, is about that, which I haven't read because I'm like you. But I'm facing it more. I'm thinking about it more. And I think that would be a cool thing to do. The Buddha, like they say also, like the whole goal is to live your life so that you have a graceful, enlightened death.
Yeah.
So that's how you prepare for it. So it doesn't like your denial, young, lying, false, illusion. And then you have all these regrets at the end as opposed to being.
Do you guys know who Elizabeth Kubler-Ross is? Yeah. So for some reason, I've always had this fascination with like working in hospice care, like even young, like as a teenager. So I got into reading her books because that's what she does. Yeah. And because of this conversation, exactly, like when I get to the end of my life, like I don't want to have a lot of regrets. And I can feel like some mistakes I've made, things have happened, but it's like we have to forgive ourselves and move forward and forgive everyone around us, right? It's the only way to be in the present. To live, like the only way to live is to be in the present, to really truly live. Like on the way, here's an example. It's like on the way here, I got here, all the stuff about my flights, missed my flight the day before, got a flight, that flight was, anyway, I got here at midnight. And then it's like, there's two ways. You could be super tired when I get here and complain like, oh, but I was like, Josie, this is the practice right here, is anytime, anywhere we are, anything we're doing, if it's good, bad, whatever, even today at the con, like being present with each person coming up, like they spent their money to come see us, to talk to us. And like we're standing on our feet all day, but oh, poor, whatever. Like, my point is like my practice is to just continually be like grateful for just being alive right now, right here. Like when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, thank you for Thank you, God, that I woke up today. Like I'm breathing right now. I'm alive right now. I'm like be in the moment right now because this is all we have right now. So I think that's just like, that's kind of what that
And,
quote's
don't
about.
forget that the Buddha, I mean, I have a lot of Buddhist teachers and I've done some meditation retreats and I've learned some of this. But what I loved is that the Buddha, the Bodhisattva vows are so hard. So it's talks about the goal is so high so that you're not failing when you're not Buddha-like all the time. But if you set it that high, then you can spend your life, trying to be in present, unattached, try to be neutral with desire and aversion and try to be a bodhisattva, caring and compassionate to others, knowing very well we're not going to be that. And so don't feel like a failure. But if you have that, you have something to come back to, that there's still something to become. So you can't do that all the time. I certainly can't do that time. In fact, I think the next phase is like to embrace the non-enlightened parts of ourselves and just forgive that too. And I come on to the party or I don't need you right now, but you got to embrace more of. There's a whole other podcast.
I did not see this game night going in this direction. I did not. But even
it's a nighttime version.
Even like the cell phone wallpaper question. Like I love how much information we got.
Yeah.
Beer.
I didn't anticipate so much of that. I love it.
It'd be so cool to do this like with your family, like with my kids, like, like really having real conversations. I think that's good. It's important. It makes you feel connected.
Yeah,
that's all
fun
we
surprises.
want as humans, right? Is to feel connected.
That's it. Really right. There you go.
Hey, everybody, this is Matt Rogers.
And Bowen Yang, we've got some exciting news for you.
We're always bringing you the best guests, right?
Well, this week we're taking it to the next level.
The one, the only, Catherine Hahn is joining us on Las Culturistas.
That's right, the queen of comedy herself.
Get ready for a conversation that's as hilarious as it is insightful.
Tune in for all the laughs, the stories, and of course, the culture.
I feel some Sandra Bernhard in you. Oh, my God, I would love it. I have to watch Lost.
Oh, you have to.
No, I know. I'm so behind.
Catherine Hahn can sing.
Oh, I'm really good at karaoke.
And
what's your song?
What's your song?
Oh, I love a ballad. I felt Bjork's music and I just was like, who is this person? I gotta hawk this slalom, Loogie.
Not hawk the slalom. I absolutely love it. It was somehow Shakespearean when you said it. It was somehow gorgeous.
Yee, must suck you, Harlem.
Listen to Las Culturistas on Will Ferrell's Big Money Players Network on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Jess Casaveto, executive producer of the hit Netflix documentary series Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult.
And I'm Clea Gray, former member of 7M Films and Shekinah Church.
And we're the host of the new podcast, Forgive Me for I Have Followed. Together, we'll be diving even deeper into the unbelievable stories behind 7M Films and LA-based Shekinah Church, an alleged cult that has impacted members for over 2 decades.
Jessica and I will delve into the hidden truths between high control groups and interview dancers, church members, and others whose lives and careers have been impacted, just like mine.
Through powerful, in-depth interviews with former members and new chilling firsthand accounts, the series will illuminate untold and extremely necessary perspectives. Forgive Me for I Have Followed will be more than an exploration. It's a vital revelation aimed at ensuring these types of abuses never happen again.
Listen to Forgive Me for I Have Followed on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, I'm Gianna Prudenti.
And I'm Janae Jackson Gadsden. We're the hosts of Let's Talk Offline, a new podcast from LinkedIn News and iHeart Podcasts.
When you're just starting out in your career, you have a lot of questions, like how do I speak up when I'm feeling overwhelmed?
Or, can I negotiate a higher salary if this is my first real job? Girl, yes.
Each week, we answer your unfiltered work questions.
Think of us as your work besties you can turn to for advice.
And if we don't know the answer, we bring in experts who do, like resume specialist Morgan Sanner.
The only difference between the person who doesn't get the job and the person who gets the job is usually who applies.
Yeah, I think a lot about that quote. What is it? Like you miss 100% of the shots you never take?
Yeah, rejection is scary, but it's better than you rejecting yourself.
Together, we'll share what it really takes to thrive in the early years of your career
without sacrificing your sanity or sleep.
Listen to Let's Talk Offline on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I've been thinking about you. I want you back in my life.
It's too late for that.
I have a proposal for you. Come up here and document my project. All you need to do is record everything like you always do. One session, 24 hours.
BPM 110, 120. She's terrified.
Should we wake her up?
Absolutely not.
What was that?
You didn't figure it out?
I think I need to hear you say it.
That was live audio of a woman's nightmare.
This machine is approved and everything? You're allowed to be doing this?
We passed the review board a year ago. We're not hurting people.
There's nothing dangerous about what you're doing.
They're just dreams.
Dream Sequence is a new horror thriller from Blumhouse Television, iHeartRadio, and Realm. Listen to Dream Sequence on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, everyone. I am Lacey Lamar.
And I'm Amber Ruffin, a better Lacey Lamar. Boo. Okay, everybody, we have exciting news to share. We're back with season 2 of the Amber and Lacey and Amber show on Will Ferrell's Big Money Players Network. You thought you had fun last season? Well, you were right. And you should tune in today for new fun segments like Sister Court and listening to Lacey's steamy DMs.
We've got new and exciting guests like Michael Beach, that's my husband, Daphne Springs, Daniel Thrasher, Peppermint, Morgan J, and more. You gotta watch us.
No, you mean you have to listen to us. I mean, you can still watch us, but you gotta listen. Like, if you're watching us, you have to tell us. Like, if you're out the window, you have to say, hey, I'm watching you outside of the window. Just you know what? Listen to the Amber and Lacey and Amber show on Will Ferrell's Big Money Players Network on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, let's try another question. See what happens.
If you had to eat one food daily for the rest of your life, what would it be? Lightning round, go. Well, I do. Nuts, roasted nuts, and Caesar salad.
That was 2 foods.
Only that food?
No, you have to eat it every day, though. Popcorn.
Oh God! Like I'm
lightning
going,
round, people.
I'd come
I'm going
visit
immediately
you.
to like,
Popcorn,
like spinach. Like honestly,
Street tacos. Like I would have that.
All right.
Tacos?
No, I change it. Guacamole and chips.
Oh.
Every day. Oh, yeah.
Every day.
Good
man.
one. Can I change my mind?
Can we all hang out?
yeah. It's like, can we share food?
but you can have like the guacamole and chips. It's like
Yeah, but if we're like every day, then we have to spend every day together, and then we have to share our food together.
I mean,
Well,
we're
yeah,
not
but
talking about
that
the
That's a
health
whole different
benefits
conversation.
no, but
Wait,
like
what
all the
was
other
that?
spinach because like
Oh, you're being practical.
Like Popeye?
because I can have all the other stuff and change it
you're
around.
just being smart about
it's like,
it. Oh,
this is something I need to have every day. Let's have that every day, and then I
okay.
can just
Wait,
add
you
all the other
strategize.
things, everything else with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's
I
the
thought it
only
was-
thing I can have,
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do that.
that would be
Yeah.
entirely
Only
different.
That's what I
That would
thought.
probably
Only
be
thing.
spaghetti and meatballs.
Okay, spaghetti and meatballs every day for the rest of your life. Every
Right.
day. Okay.
Yeah.
And I would be chips, guacamole, and salsa.
Okay. Same
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
All right.
Mine would be same answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine. If I
Roasted
if I
nuts.
could only,
Yeah.
it would be popcorn
And Caesar.
Some
But-
bubbles. Wait, what do you like? Caesar salad and nuts?
Roasted nuts. Almonds, pecans.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We have like
Okay.
a whole meal
Yeah.
here. If we,
Brazil nuts.
Okay. Do you have any nicknames or something you were known around the set for Melrose Place? Any nicknames? Anything that people like teased you about or like any?
Not Melrose
Thomas just
Place.
called me
They called me
JB
Daddy G
or
on-
Joe B.
Daddy G on
on
Dynasty.
Dynasty, yeah.
Daddy G.
I
Yeah.
don't think I had a nickname. Did you?
Well, I did.
What
I
made
thought
you think of
everybody
this?
must.
No.
Robert Matoye, our first
Oh,
AD,
yes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Called
used
you-
to call me Grace because I tripped over everything. Like
I
the
thought
vaguely
Grace
remember
hour, like you
that.
took so long.
No,
Grace.
that wasn't
We're
it.
going
It
into
was I would trip
overtime.
and inevitably I was tripping over a wire or like the edge of a thing, and I would trip, and inevitably he was standing right there to witness it. So he called me Grace. Like I don't know that he called me by my name for the last few seasons. He just, hey Grace. The last
Grace.
few seasons, he just, hey Grace.
That's funny.
I mean, it was just a casual.
You'd be a
name
cute
that he called
Grace.
me.
That's a good name for you. Yeah.
I will never forget Robert Montoya. I had just started. I was in the trailer I think Courtney said she remembers hearing this story, but I was like learning my lines and getting into it. I had brought old love letters, stuff to get into it, get into my character. She's like, okay, she was abused. Okay. All right. Bam, 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 bam. What the hell? God. Yes. And it's Robert Montoya going, we're waiting for you, kid. Or whatever, not kid, but we're waiting for you. I go, okay, I'm just getting ready. No. We're waiting for you. Get on your mark, say your lines. And I was like, that was the first time I learned.
You're like, oh, I'm in
this
TV.
shit goes fast.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
fast. And I thought I was going to be fired right that night, just going like, oh my God. So I got on it. And I was like, okay, maybe it's not to get so deep into character, maybe.
So I would say it's not a nickname, but like something I think, Josie, you were known for is like getting off the set as fast as you could at the end. Like we talked about it when you were in.
we talked about it. But you weren't there.
Do you remember Josie would change into her pajama bottoms or something? She'd have like sweats on the bottom and her tennis shoes, and she was ready to go.
I sort of feel a lot of us adopt.
Yeah, well, I was like, you showed people how to do that.
For the rest of my career.
Like,
I mean, it's smart. You're not gonna be ready to go bottoms down. Like
your Uggs and your sweats, and you got your dress.
If you were off camera, you were out of your out of your
I'm
wardrobe.
in character from here up.
Right.
Yep, you taught us all how to do that.
And I loved what I don't know if Lona did this, but I know Greg, my makeup guy, did. He had the hot
the
washcloths in the microwave.
For after.
And he'd have them ready for after. And we were all so young and dumb back then. It would be like, but he's like, you guys are wrecking your skin.
Yeah.
Take
care.
it.
Yeah.
Put it.
Half the time I didn't wear makeup on that. Most of the time I didn't wear makeup.
You didn't get anything? Like,
really?
Not even.
No, most of the time I didn't.
So this might be a surprise to podcast listeners. Well, of course Grant wouldn't wear makeup, but actually on television shows,
I wear it all the time now.
Guys, men will have makeup, obviously to a modified extent, but
I mean, I'm not wearing it now, but
they'd smooth it out or something.
Dark stuff.
Yeah, to be clear, he's not wearing it now.
Not wearing makeup now. Pshaw.
Who said I was wearing makeup? All right.
Who's next?
All right, we have a last question.
Grant.
It's a novel.
It's like
it's another one of these. Do you have anything you need to confess from your time on Melrose? Any secrets you're carrying around and now you want to come clean?
Just want to
Now's
get
your
it
chance.
all out.
Now's your chance to admit it.
But
peed
now's
in the
your
pool?
chance to admit.
Question mark? So what that says? Peed in the pool?
Now's your chance to admit. Anybody?
Every time I got in that pool, I peed.
Did you really?
Every time. No, never.
Never.
Were you in there often? I wasn't even in there.
I was not
I was in there
often,
once.
Hated getting in the pool.
I hated getting in that pool.
Yeah.
Absolutely hated it.
I hated it.
Yep.
Did you?
Oh.
You didn't
I
mind?
think I was only there once. I didn't even remember it, but a fan reminded me.
Just, yeah.
I wasn't
bathing suit,
fond of
body
getting in the pool.
makeup, all of it, yeah.
Do you think anyone peed in there?
I can't imagine
No,
if
I
anyone
What if you
peed
could
in there.
see, like, the yellow?
I just thought if there was anything like that anybody wanted to get off their chest, like, oh my God.
I was very well behaved on that show. I believe. Was I not?
Yeah. No, I think everybody was.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody had any bad behavior. It was more like, oh my gosh, once I did this, like goofy, like.
I do have one thing. Okay, so it was in the very beginning, and I had to cry. I think it was it was the first 5 shows or something. In fact, I think we might have seen one of them, and I was in the kitchen with Jane and Michael. Okay, so there's these blowers for the audience where they're menthol, and you can, if say Grant has to cry, I could blow the menthol into his eye, and it makes his eyes water up, right? Well, I did not know about those, and I, like you, were new into acting and stuff, and I had Vicks or something that I brought because I was panicked if I couldn't cry for that scene.
Wow.
And so I had it and I put it in my eye.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It worked.
It's essentially the same thing.
Daphne's
times 100. Yeah, I bet it worked.
You had all sorts of fixes. You had all sorts of problem solving things. Well, the changing into your sweatpants. You you had a lot of things figured out. Wait, you're a problem solver. Yeah. All right. No other confessions.
But then someone had the blower one time, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what? You can blow that in their eye? Like that's okay to do?"
Yeah.
We had a lot of
Shortcut.
crying, a lot of drama, a lot of, at least Joe did. You did too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Michael cheated on you like 40 different times with different.
Here's the thing though, like now that I'm older and stuff, like I didn't have to cry. I could have played it differently. I could have been, even if it said Jane breaks down.
Right.
Like it
You
doesn't
interpret
mean
it like,
she
oh,
cries,
I must
but
cry
didn't
here.
know. Yeah. Or if it says she cries, there's a tear going down her
I
cheek.
always feel pressure.
You
if it
feel like
says
you,
that.
And
you
then
do.
when the
That's what I
director's
do
like,
too. It's
okay,
like whenever it
cut, let's
says-
try it again, Josie. Like, see if you can get there. And it's like,
Ay.
I'm already getting hot. Like,
I
don't
hate
make
that
me
conversation. Yeah.
Especially when when the pressure's on, it's like your emotions just go.
Well, I think it's like the well empties. It may fill up again for tomorrow, but then it's like bring on the menthol, or you know what I mean? Like bring it on, or yeah. But I remember a lot of emotion. I just was like, oh my God.
Well, I think what we've learned is like there's so much to talk about and remember, like and even just like hearing each other's stories triggers memories for everybody else. And I think we're going to need to have more game nights.
Yeah.
Just so we can get back together.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And
It's
anybody
hard.
can
I
make
just want to let the
questions.
fans know we are going to have everyone on that we can get to. All the cast people. We're going to try to get Darren and maybe a couple other writers, but all of the cast. And also, it's hard to get everyone in the room like this, which is why we were all here for this event. We wanted to all be together because there's a wonderful hanging out and rapport, but we all live in different areas.
It's complicated.
So
yeah.
it's hard to get everybody together.
So
but
we're so grateful that this
thrilled.
worked out and we got to
Yeah.
see you guys twice and sit down and chat twice.
So
and
great.
It's really
so
fun. It really is.
Thanks for coming. And
Thank
as
you.
always, we love hearing fans' feedback. We love hearing fans' comments.
We love
on
their
our Still the Place
follow
Instagram.
and subscribe.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week on Still the Place.
I'm Jess Casaveto, executive producer of the hit Netflix documentary series Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult.
And I'm Clea Gray, former member of 7M Films and Shekinah Church.
And we're the host of the new podcast, Forgive Me for I Have Followed. Together, we'll be diving even deeper into the unbelievable stories behind 7M Films and Shekinah Church.
Listen to Forgive Me for I Have Followed on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, everybody, this is Matt Rogers.
And Bowen Yang, we've got some exciting news for you.
You know we're always bringing you the best guests, right?
Well, this week we're taking it to the next level.
The one, the only, Catherine Hahn is joining us on Las Culturistas.
That's right, the queen of comedy herself.
Get ready for a conversation that's as hilarious as it is insightful.
Tune in for all the laughs, the stories, and of course, the culture.
Don't miss Catherine Hahn on Las Culturistas. Listen to Las Culturistas on Will Ferrell's Big Money Players Network on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, I'm Gianna Prudenti.
And I'm Jermaine Jackson Gadsden. We're the hosts of Let's Talk Offline from LinkedIn News and iHeart Podcasts.
There's a lot to figure out when you're just starting your career. That's where we come in.
Think of us as your work besties you can turn to for advice.
And if we don't know the answer, we bring in people who do, like negotiation expert Maury Taheri-Poor.
If you start thinking about negotiations as just a conversation, then I think it sort of eases us a little bit.
Listen to Let's Talk Offline on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Carrie Champion, and this is Season 4 of Naked Sports. Up first, I explore the making of a rivalry. Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese.
Every great player needs a foil.
I know I'll go down in history. People are talking about women's basketball just because of one single game.
Clark and Reese have changed the way we consume women's sports. Listen to the making of a rivalry. Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Presented by Capital One, founding partner of iHeart Women's Sports.
Kay hasn't heard from her sister in 7 years.
I have a proposal for you. Come up here and document my project. All you need to do is record everything like you always do.
What was that?
That was live audio of a woman's nightmare.
Can Kay trust her sister, or is history repeating itself?
There's nothing dangerous about what you're doing.
They're just dreams.
Dream Sequence is a new horror thriller from Blumhouse Television, iHeartRadio, and Realm. Listen to Dream Sequence on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.